Boom. We are live.
So what is happening right now?
We're live.
The music is playing and they can't hear us, or the music is playing and they can hear us?
They can hear us. We are actually live.
Oh.
You see how the intro goes into us being here on the screen?
I can see it, but I can't hear anything.
I know.
So
I can't hear either.
Are you serious? Then why do you have the headphones on?
Because I can hear us.
Oh. Hi,
Hey guys.
Hi.
We're back.
We are here for the first time. Let's not lie. We're not back from anywhere.
You can hear the lovely sirens in the background.
Yes. We live in a very criminal town.
We actually do.
Do we really though?
I don't know. So I've heard things like that.
I've heard things, but I've heard them from you, so I don't believe it's a reliable source. So this is great. You know, we kind of just jumped in on this live. And I'm June. This is Masa. Originally, Masa here, you know, it was like, if we're going to do a podcast, we got to have a format. We got to have structure. And so he gave us a structure. And then we totally ignored that. And we're just like, well, let's start living.
Yeah, I don't know. Just any sort of talk with you about structure just sort of turns into just.
Hey, don't blame it on me. I told you. Excuse me. If it's really important to you, and you're the one who keeps noticing that's what's missing, then I believe that is your responsibility to fill
I took
in.
it upon myself, and I thought about it. I was like, okay, maybe we could bring one thing to the table to talk about each. And then even that just seemed to me to be almost too much to ask from you and I.
Why?
I don't know. I just for me at least, just thinking about, oh, what could I bring? And then after thinking about it, I realized, okay, the only things that I can really bring to the table are stuff about me, right? Like stuff that I'm going through or that I'm thinking about.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah. So I think that's where I'm at. Is but I haven't even thought of anything to bring. Have you thought of anything?
No, I haven't. It's
right?
too late for that.
It's too late, right?
Too late, too lazy.
So this, I mean, you.
Well, okay. So right here, we're just kind of trying this thing out.
Should I share it?
To what?
I don't know, somewhere.
That's a good question.
Look, we even have a logo, you see? Look how professional we are.
We have a logo, guys. It took me 30 seconds to make it. And here we are. Totally prepared, as you can see, by our glowy, made-up complexions at the end of the day after the child is asleep.
I actually do have something I want to talk about, and it was something that I was talking to you about.
Okay.
Before. Hold on, let me just share, okay? Let me do the right thing. I'll figure this out eventually, so where we're not doing all this kind of stuff. But no, I did want to. I was talking to you about about parents.
You're talking to me about parents?
About parents and how, okay, my parents are getting older and
I don't know anybody who's getting younger.
Yeah, thanks.
Just keeping it real here.
No, but my mom and my dad are getting older, and as they get older, I start to think okay, what I don't want to leave behind. I don't want to have any regrets when it comes to my relationship with them. My relationship with my parents.
Yeah.
At the same time, I don't know always. I don't always know how much to open the doors and how much to set boundaries and so sort of I've been kind of thinking about that and thinking about, okay, well, what if our son Junior was all grown up and I was getting old, and what would I want as a parent? What would I want for him as a son? You know, I'd like to have a good relationship with him and be super open all the way up until the very, very end.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
So that must be what my parents are feeling too, yes?
No,
No.
I do not believe that. I believe that a lot of your feelings about that, and the whole reason why you feel so strongly about that, is because you came from a relationship, a family relationship that lacked that and completely, and maybe that was exactly the way that they wanted it.
Right, they didn't want the openness.
Maybe they did, maybe they didn't.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I was, you know, like with my family, we all kind of are pretty nice to each other. We're all very kind to each other for the most part, but we really don't go out of our way to be in each other's lives at all. Sometimes I feel guilty about that. I'm like, oh, I should reach out and I should talk and I should call and I should, try to like keep the connections. And then at other times I'm like, for what exactly? Like what? Why do I feel like I have this like you owe these things to your family? So I guess my question is like, do you feel that way about your family? Like, do you like, are there things that you feel you owe?
Well, I mean, so that's a really long. It could be a really long story, but to kind of wrap that sum it up, I have way more family members than you.
Yeah, and you do a much better job of keeping in touch with them too.
With some
Yeah.
of them, and then also the siblings that I keep in touch with. I think a lot of times it comes and goes. You know, we're all just like ships in the night, and sometimes we cross paths. You know, through life. You know, sometimes like depending on what challenge or what celebration I'm experiencing in my life, the sibling that I will connect with at that moment will be different, you know?
Right.
For a really long time, for so many years, yes, I did feel an obligation to try at least to go to all the family get-togethers and keep in touch with all of my siblings, but I realize that's just an expectation that is too high both to put on myself and each of those siblings who have their own complete lives and their families as well. So I just kind of just started letting all that go, you know? I don't expect that of myself anymore, and it just became a lot more freeing. Yeah, and sometimes family members are toxic. Sometimes I'm toxic. Sometimes I just gotta remove myself from the situation to get some perspective. I don't feel like blood makes you obligated or like that is, the end all. I believe that there are so many more dynamics than just the one societal expectation of family, this big blanket or this umbrella that they put over everything, and I don't subscribe to that anymore. I used to, and it literally like suffocated me and made me feel guilty. It made me feel shame. It made me feel all of these things that were completely unnecessary and that actually strained the relationships so much more. Yeah.
I have kind of this theory about my family that I think we all trigger each other.
That's what families are meant to do.
Like,
okay.
I think we all trigger each other's like dormant trauma, or maybe for some not so dormant trauma, and so we kind of subconsciously know to stay away from each other and not really engage too much too often because it's just kind of too much, you know. And so I think we all kind of are like, okay, it's a kindness to give everyone their space, and we don't take it too personally. I don't think, at least I don't know, maybe there have been times where people have, but I think for the most part we all kind of know, like, we all love each other but try to stay in our own separate little corners. And it's funny, I was talking to somebody last night and they were like, I come from a background of trauma and this and that, and it was the bond that we had as siblings that helped us survive.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, we did the exact opposite of that. Like,
yeah. Well, everybody has different needs. Like, and to assume that what worked for one family dynamic would work for yours is also too much of an expectation to put on yourself and your siblings as well. And it's actually not looking at the situation realistically and what is really in front of you.
maybe we did bond while we were living together. And that did keep us, helped us survive while we were living together. But I think as soon as we went our separate ways, then we kind of were like, okay, now let me build my, like little cave that I can hide in and be safe in. And I think we're all a little trepidatious to knock on each other's, door, be like, hey, can I come into your, world? Kind of, we're like,
Well, yeah, I can understand that because, like, if you go from like a state of survival to trying to continue to survive on your own, sometimes you really just need that space to put your head down
yeah.
and find your individuality away from your family. And then once you have a good, firm home within yourself, then it's safe to go back and say hello. How many siblings do you have, by the way? Just for,
well, like the ones that I'm like, okay, the ones I grew up with, I have six siblings.
Okay.
Yeah.
6.
And then there's
And you are
others.
number-
There's other half brothers and sisters, but we don't really interact as. We don't really acknowledge each other as brothers and like as siblings. If that makes sense. Like.
Yeah, it makes sense.
We just kind of like, okay, basically everyone born from my mom is family, and then everyone else, any other half brothers and sisters, are kind of like they're their own family. And
I apologize, everybody. I'm yawning and burping like crazy. It's late. I'm tired.
yeah, we had a crazy time trying to get going through our technical
It
setup.
wasn't that crazy. Like, we did all the real grunt work a year ago.
It's
All we
true,
had
we
to
did.
do was really find the passwords and the accounts that we. So we started. I started with the help of Masa and also then a dear friend Aaron. We started a podcast called CPR. Child parent relationships, and we recorded a couple of podcasts, and they're actually up on iTunes. Apple Podcasts, but then the pandemic hit, and then that sort of just like came to a standstill, a grinding halt. And then if you've been following Masa or anybody, or if you know us, we just moved, and there was a lot of stuff going on. So now we've been discussing like picking it up off and on, but then today we're just like, okay, let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it. And the thing is, we're not really ready, and
We're not. We never will be.
But I feel like this is the only way we're ever gonna do anything, is to not be ready and be like, okay, so we're not ready, so let's do it anyways. And it's fine. I think it's fine.
I think it's fine. And the title is called The Lazy Parents, which I think is very fitting. If you're listening, lucky you, because you cannot see this glistening oily sheen that covers our face. We are a mess of
I don't know why we're both so shiny today.
sebum
Look,
and
I'm shiny and
filaments.
you're shiny
Well,
too.
I know why I am, because I've been wearing makeup all day, and it's time that I usually wash it off like a couple of hours ago, but we started doing this. So anyways,
So let me ask you a question.
Okay,
What are the things that you would like to explore, or what do you want from?
that's such
podcasting.
a big question.
Yeah, it is a big question,
And
but it's
I
a
don't
good
think
question.
it's fair for you to throw that at me so immediately. Come on.
No, okay, well, obviously you don't have it all figured out, and it's not like you know.
I'm sorry, do you have it
what-
all figured
No,
out?
I don't have it all figured
Whoa.
out either, but like, if your hair looks so cute. Somebody told me to tell you that.
Some people call me Becky with the good hair. sorry. Beyonce fans. No, I'm not her. I'm not Becky, okay? So please don't slide
I
into
called
my
her.
DMs with
I
hate.
called June Becky with the good hair, and she got so mad. She's like, "Excuse me,
I would never
I
be Becky
am
with the
not
good hair, okay?
Becky with the good hair."
I would
And was
not
like-
do that to Beyonce.
I was confused. I was like, "But why? Why aren't you Becky? What? You have good hair."
Okay,
And she's
that's
like,
enough
"Becky
on that.
doesn't actually have good hair. She has a weave." And I was like, "How do you know that?"
It's true. I don't know that. Maybe Becky is actually not even. I don't know Jay-Z's type outside of Beyonce. I don't know.
I
well
feel
enough.
okay. Here's what I think about Becky with good hair: is that Beyonce is saying Becky with the good hair because she genuinely has good hair, and
I feel like there's more nuance than that.
but that's all she's got. Not that you're.
Whoa.
Whoa. I shouldn't have said
Whoa.
that.
You might want to take a few steps back before you proceed with this Becky conversation. But thank you. I really like my hair too. Hopefully it'll distract from the, like I said, the sebum and filaments and the oil coming out of my skin at the moment. Anyways. What were you saying? What do I want from podcasting?
Yeah, or like, what do you want
Okay.
from this experience?
From this experience, really putting me on the spot.
It's okay, take your time.
A couple of things. I guess I want a place where we can have conversations that span everything regarding human things, and maybe even alien things. I don't know. Just a safe place to talk about things.
Yeah. Okay.
Not just that. I had another thing, but I forgot. It'll come to me at a most inopportune moment. And what about you?
I guess the same. I'd like to have a safe place that we can talk about almost anything. And I guess like it's kind of strange, but we live together and we see each other a lot. We do a lot together. But I think just sitting down and being like, okay, here's a dedicated chunk of time where we're going to talk is not so common, actually. It's easy to fill that time up with like, oh, let me do my thing, let you do your thing, and hey, let's watch something, or let's just chill out and do absolutely nothing at all and be completely distracted, or whatever, right? Or I'm working, or you're working, or and so if nothing more than just having like a dedicated chunk of time where you and I sit and talk and just like, I don't know what comes out, but I feel like that's actually super precious, valuable time that maybe we don't always make for ourselves.
It's true.
Although
I will say, I've been asking you for these times together for a while.
Yeah. Look, see how well I've done. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Guys, all it takes is
putting it on camera.
5 years and putting it on camera.
You're talking like I haven't talked to you in 5 years.
No, like a designated time for the conversations. Well, we've talked.
We've had conversations.
We know each other
in the last 5 years.
Well, it's true. We have.
Beyond that, it'd be interesting to explore how open and how safe we can really become in this space. It's funny because I do live streams all the time now, and I've kind of gotten really comfortable with being pretty open in my live streams and things. And for some reason, in this setting right now, in the same exact couch with the same exact setup, I'm feeling different, and I'm exploring that. Like, why do I feel different?
Because you're naked. You have no guitar.
It's true.
Right?
Shit.
Right? You're
fuck.
It's just Masa. This is Masa without the makeup.
I'm a worm.
Masa's makeup is the guitar, and he hides it and he plays it well.
It's true.
Like a very sexy eyeliner, but
Mm-hmm.
now he's naked.
Yeah, it's something for like my. It really is something to hide behind.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's also kind of like, how Moses had Aaron.
Yes.
I have a guitar.
And I have you.
And I have a guitar. So you have a guitar.
Whoa, it's so meta.
And how are we feeling about like interacting with comments and things as they pop up? Is that something we do, or is that something we don't do?
Well, since we're still exploring this thing, it'll be pretty free.
Right?
Sometimes
No rules?
1 week it might be a yes, next week or day it might be a no. And whoa, bear with us, okay? We're lazy. We can't come up with something and stick to it. concept.
Well, Leland says that he hates being put on the spot with a broad, open-ended question. I like broad, open-ended questions. It takes a lot of pressure off of me.
It depends on the question, and also the situation too.
Well, no, I mean, okay, here's the reason I ask the question, right? Is because for a long time we've been talking about... Well, I mean, I think for a long time it's kind of been like bubbling podcast or just something like that, right?
Yeah, for like 2 years now.
And so I guess I was asking that because I wanted to know where that, like, the root of that desire comes from. Is it
Oh, sorry.
for you?
Is there
Yeah.
the rest of a question?
No, not really. That's kind of it. Like, is it just Is it you finding out stuff about you? Is it you curious about other things, or is it like trying to reach other people?
It's
or...
all of the above. All of it. It's just conversations. I would like to, have this be a safe place where we can talk about all kinds of things. Personally, for me, like, for so many years, I wasn't quite allowed to talk about who I am and where I come from and, a lot of different dynamics of my family and stuff like that. But recently I'm in a, chuck it in the fuck it bucket type of
Whoa. I've never heard you say that before.
What? You haven't?
Chuck it
in the fuck it bucket. If you follow my Instagram, you would have seen it like 5 years ago. I posted it like 5 years ago. That's why, see, we actually haven't had a conversation in 5 years.
No, me not reading your
I'm
Instagram
kidding,
post is
I'm
different
kidding.
than having conversations.
Yes, you're right. So, anyways, check it in the fuck it bucket. And yeah, I just want to be able to talk about a lot of different things, because there's different things that I've experienced, and I'm sure everybody has experiences, and I want to hear all that stuff.
Okay, well, like,
I got distracted. I read a comment.
You read the comments. Should I hide the comments, or do you want to, or do you? We're reading comments, guys. It's happening. It's.
We can't hide it anymore.
It's happening.
We're reading comments.
I will read the comments. I will be the comment reader. Okay.
Thank you.
Raj says, "What would be some of the songs to your life's soundtrack? Open-ended enough."
My life soundtrack. There's a lot of different songs. One would be Brave. I forgot who sings that.
Mama, say you'll be brave. That's not Kelly Clarkson. It's not. It's Sarah.
It's not, is it Sarah
Bareilles. Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's one. There's a lot, but then there's different theme songs for the different parts of my life too. I guess one big one that I like is Incomplete.
Yeah.
That's definitely a theme song of my life. Incomplete by Alanis Morissette. It just feels so straight on the head, and when I sing it and I really not really get into it, I don't even have to get into it that much, but whenever I sing it, I feel like crying.
So
it's hard to sing it.
For me, I think, well, I feel like an energy-wise, Bohemian Rhapsody, because it's like up and down, It's like, Mama
Yeah,
just killed a man. It's kind of shameful and sad.
Shameful.
And then he killed a man. He feels shameful about it. He's like, I just killed a man. Put a gun against his head, right? And then, but from there it goes into like, the struggle with Beelzebub, and he will not let them go, and let me go. And then it goes into this like,
just a poor boy. Nobody loves him.
He's just a poor boy from a poor family. And then Mamma Mia, who knows what that's about, but it's energetic.
Just let me go.
Let me go. Yeah. So, anyways, that one, I feel like it has a lot of ups and downs, kind of like how I feel, kind of. Because I'll wake up one morning and be kind of Mama just killed a man, and sometimes I'll wake up and I'll be kind of like dun 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 dun.
That sounds very Pirates of the Caribbean.
No, that's a so you will live.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. So that's one. That's one that's kind of
That's your theme song or
not theme
soundtrack?
song,
One.
but yeah, I feel like it kind of like kind of naughty to my life. Kind of matches the ups and downs because I feel very like jagged sometimes in how my energy goes places. Like, yeah, you agree?
I do.
You agree? Like,
I
sometimes
do.
I'm super up and sometimes I'm super down.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'm way too much energy for no good reason and directed in no good direction.
No good direction.
And then sometimes I'm thoughtful. I am sometimes. I'm thoughtful
Yeah.
sometimes. I have deep thoughts and I think about things and I'm more like mama just killed a man,
But
you know.
I feel like that's just what a human is. Humans have, every person has all of the different
Mm-hmm.
extremes. You know, some of them are just more easily accessible than others, depending on what best supports the life that you were conditioned to live until you break out of that and make when you choose to.
Well, I don't know. I always like whenever I look at you and I stare deeply in your eyes. This happens from time to time. Happened today.
When you stare deep in my eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I stare deep in your eyes, then
It happened today.
it did.
Yeah, I know it did. I'm sorry. Just
I'm always like I always feel this sort of like rock solid energy coming from you, like this very sort of like not grounded. I wouldn't say grounded, but sure-footed. You know, you have steady like a steady hold on who you are and where you are in yourself. And I have moments where I feel like that, but I very often feel like I'm like, I don't know where I am, and I don't know exactly how I'm feeling, and it could go all kinds of crazy ways, and I'm a little bit scared. You know?
Okay, but let's just take a step back from just you
Okay.
and let's get a little perspective on the both of us, because there are times when I am like that and you are the rock. I feel like when you're in that
You need
state.
to tell me that, like, when it happens, like, you're a rock, baby.
Did you tell me that? Did you tell me that
told
in that
you,
moment?
I told you that right now.
I'm telling you right now, okay? Oh my god. Oh my god. No, but
I want to hear it.
so the thing about, like, for me,
Jesus.
I want to hear it too. Oh Jesus. Okay.
You only said you want to hear after I said I want to hear it.
Okay, we could play this game
I
forever.
know.
No, but like, so in like relationships, I don't believe that couples are always supposed to be 50-50, because that's ridiculous. Sometimes you only have 20%. So like when I have 20% or like 10-15 going down, sometimes you have to compensate by giving 70-80%, but none of that
Yeah.
is sustainable. And then there are times when it's vice versa.
Yeah.
And so I don't feel like I'm always steady, but if you're at 20 and I go down to 22, then we're both just gonna.
But when you're at 20, do you feel like I'm always at 20? Like, this is where I live. This is who I am.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. I do, but I don't believe myself. I feel that way, but I don't believe it because I already know
I sometimes
better.
believe it. I do sometimes. I'm like, oh man.
I think that just,
I am a reed blowing in the wind.
well, in that moment you are then.
I am.
Yeah, but reeds have deep roots, you know. They don't just fly away.
I don't know much about reeds.
Well, have you ever flown away?
Good. I that's a good question.
I don't think
I guess
so.
here I am. So
Yeah, exactly. So just
so
the fact that you're here is proof that you've never flown away. You're not a reed, you're an oak.
maybe I'm like a
birch.
homing, like one of those things that flies away, but then it has little legs and it walks back.
You mean like a pigeon?
Like a pigeon that breaks its legs on the return flight and has to walk home. Wait, it breaks its wings and has to walk home. Sometimes I feel like that. Like, sometimes I do fly away and then I have to pick up the pieces and sort of crawl back and be like, crawl back to, you know, some semblance of.
Yeah, I think I used to go through that a lot. I used to go through that quite a bit before, but I just like, I have a very good memory. I have a very good memory, and I every time I'm in it, I remember all of the times that I made it through, and I'm like, okay, yes, I've felt this shitty. I've also felt worse before, and things could also be bad, but every morning I wake up and I'm still here. And so, yeah, feelings are there, and I used to believe them, and that took me down to like dark places, and I used to get depressed and be immobilized and paralyzed for days at a time. Um, but yeah, I can't keep buying my own bullshit, Like, come on. Like, who's gonna believe that? And, like, if I believe it, then it's just the end. So I just have to take everything with a grain of salt. I'm like, yeah, I feel this way. But if I feel so strongly in just one direction, that means that I'm lying to myself about something. And so then I go in and I do the work. I'm like, okay, what is true? What is true? What is true? What is true? I'm constantly looking for, okay, what is true?
Yeah.
And then
Do you do that when you're feeling great too?
No. No. When I'm great, I'm on top of the world, and I'm the king of the world, okay? And that is what's true.
I see.
I try to. Okay, so, but, like, if I ever go too much into that, super feeling great forever, make this last, inevitably something always comes to balance it out. I'll get maybe a negative comment, or I'll get someone who will
Who gives you negative comments
other than me too, in myself.
Yeah. Oh, I see. You mean just like self-negative comments?
Yeah.
While you're feeling great?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay.
Just okay, so back in the Roman Empire days, there was the slave that would hold the thing over the
sword, the wreath over
the
and
head,
say,
and it'd be like, remember that you are
are
just a man. You are just a man.
You are
only a
man.
man. And when I heard that actually, like, that made a huge impression on me when I first heard. I don't know how old I was, like 5 or 6 years old or something like that. But yeah. I've always been very clear of that person in my own self. Like, when I go too crazy, and I'm just like, I'm gonna go over the edge with my explosive ego. I always hear in the back of my head, "You're just a man."
Yeah. So
I have like some sort of a checks and balances
right
within myself. But if I totally go off the rocks and loose, then yeah, something will inevitably happen. It's very interesting. Everything is balanced. Homeostasis.
Yeah, everything is balanced for me in the imbalance of everything, I think. And that's, I guess, what my next question to you would be is, like, do you have a practice to help you stay balanced? Like, do you have a practice? And by that I mean, like, do you have a certain set of, like, a mental gates that you go through, or boxes that you check, or questions or things that you say to yourself? Or because, like, I find myself losing the plot completely. Like, when I feel like shit, I feel like shit, and it's like, oh, I am terrible, and this is awful, and I have always felt this way, and this is where I live. And all those other times where I thought I felt great, those were all a lie. This is the true right here. And then when I feel great, I'm like, fuck that shit. Oh, silly me, forever feeling down. Ha! I'm the best. And I don't think I have a practice that grounds me sometimes. Like, I do, I guess. I do, but it's not codified. It's just sort of, like you said, like, like, what is true. I do that to some extent, right? Like, okay, no. I've taken care of myself this far. I've brought myself here to this point, and I can find, even in dark places, things to thank myself for or be kind, especially when I realize that, oh, I'm in a dark place. If I can have the awareness to know, like, oh, in this moment, I'm going to some deep, dark places. I'm spinning downwards instead of upwards. I can catch myself there and kind of love myself out of the hole sometimes, if I'm...
Okay.
Or at least love myself back into a place of, being more stable.
Right.
But it's not a practice. It's kind of like hit or miss. Through experiences, I've gotten better at it, but I haven't codified it into something that I actually do on a daily basis. That's why people meditate and
yeah,
things.
I think that's, yeah, for me, I meditate. I keep I keep track of my breathing a lot. So when I'm feeling shitty, or if I start to feel myself go down, honestly, if I check in with my body, I'm not breathing. I'm holding my breath in,
Oh.
and my chest is tight.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is constricted. My shoulders are forward. I've just become very aware of my physiology, and that I'm creating even more weight and pressure and
Mm.
all of that on myself. My neck is hunched over. Yeah, exactly.
That's what I do.
Bad posture. And so I just like, that's why yoga really helps,
It
it
does.
just opens your chest up and
I
opens.
Yeah, I guess in that way, one of my practices is exercise.
Yeah, I think that's exercise, huge
Yeah.
meditation, definitely getting into your body.
Leland Anderson asks, Masa, does your music ground you?
Oh, should I ask that
No,
to you?
no. I'm thinking
Oh,
about it in this moment. I think a lot of times for me, music is more like a thermometer. It doesn't ground me. It kind of takes my temperature and lets me know where I'm at. Because as I play, I'm like, oh, I'm trying to play a happy song and I'm not feeling it at all. Or I'm playing this song and it's bringing stuff out in me and I'm feeling things that are in there trying to get out. And so a lot of times as I'm playing a set of music, it's kind of slowly directing me closer and closer to something that I'm feeling or something that I'm, getting closer to what it is, where I'm at. A lot of times. Sometimes it can be healing or it can ground me. Like sometimes it can open me up and help me to, I don't know, heal or just like chill out, be in a better place. But more often than not, it's like a, I don't know, how would you say, it's like divining
Divining stick.
a divining stick, and I'm like
Trying to find
this, and
water.
I'm like, oh, I feel it, oh, I'm going this way, oh, and then if I really find the spot, if I really follow it honestly all the way through, then I usually end up in a ball of tears at some point, especially if I'm playing it and I'm writing. Then if I hit the spot, then I'll end up just like sobbing to myself because I found what it was that I'm
Yeah.
really, really feeling deep down inside. Performing is a little bit different though. It's a very different thing performing in front of people because then it's not about me. It's about everybody who's listening, and their energy is being projected onto me, and I'm having to sort of absorb it and sort of like get rid of it as fast as it's coming. And if I
Yeah,
don't,
yeah.
then it's freaky. Like
Yeah.
in between songs, if there's a crowd full of people and they're all looking at you, and they're all just like beaming their energy at you, and you're not
Putting
projecting it
out.
back,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it gets really like,
too
whoa,
much,
whoa,
yeah.
what is this shit? So
It's like constantly breathing in without exhaling.
yeah,
You have to exhale.
and so I sometimes I'm better at it, especially when I'm practicing more and I'm performing more. Then I'm better at sort of guiding that energy. Like, okay, everyone, we're gonna chill out now. Like, hey, let's take that down a notch, or like, okay, let's bring it up, and you can kind of help orchestrate the energy of the entire crowd. Other times they control you, and that sucks. Like they're just like, yeah, and you're like, oh, I just gotta go with it. And that can be fun, but it can also be kind of like a train wreck sometimes. So I guess that's the difference. Is like performing live and feeling people's energy. It's not about me so much. It is about. I mean, it is what I'm feeling too, but it's
No, you're just a conduit.
yeah, it's very much everyone else's feelings, and I'm trying to find a way to turn it into
Express it. Yeah.
one flow, one thing, like all this different stuff coming and trying to turn it into one thing. When I'm by myself, then it's more about me trying to find where I'm at somehow. And sometimes that can take hours and hours, of me sitting there playing songs or writing and then just being like, like the other day I was I was trying to write and it was just like, I was just stuck. It was like nothing was flowing and nothing was moving, and I think that's kind of what I was feeling, was a feeling of stuckness, and I was trying to write from a place of stuckness, and I was like, well, yeah, we're stuck. Great. Yeah. I'm stuck. We just have this piece of paper and a pen. We're writing random words down and nothing really resonates. And that's honest too, I guess. You know, like here we are. I'm stuck. Okay. And other days when I'm feeling something, I don't know what it is, and I start writing, and it gets closer and closer to it. Then eventually I'll hit on it, and then it'll be just. Blah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess it's a practice of sorts.
Yeah. I think just being able to check in with yourself and be able to gauge how full or empty your battery is.
Yeah.
And if you're trying to put something out when you have an empty battery, it's impossible.
Yeah.
Impossible.
Yeah. What about you?
What's the question?
Does your music ground you?
Is my music.
Uh-huh.
My music. My? Well, I've been enjoying singing more recently. It feels good. It is one way to disperse. I don't know if that's the word. To get energy out in a nice way.
Yeah, it's
So yeah. Does it ground me though? Kind of in a way, because I have to like put my fingers on chords, and so it's not just like floating in the ethers. I don't know if that's an answer.
I feel like exercise grounds me.
Yeah, exercise definitely grounds
Exercise
me.
grounds me. Eating grounds me.
Really?
Yeah, it does. It brings me back down to the world. Like when I eat a meal. You know, like I realized I had a rough couple of days just like this week. I had, I think, like 2 or 3 days where I really wasn't really doing so well. Like my mind cogs were not in a happy place. And I realized I didn't eat a real meal that whole time. Like I ate, but I didn't actually sit down with a full meal and just eat. It was like, oh, little peanut butter sandwich here and a little bit of salad here and a little bit of this here, and I didn't actually. I was like, oh, that's one of the signs that I need to look out for. It's like when I stop eating. You know.
So which comes first, the chicken or the egg?
The egg comes first.
The egg, the eating, or the
because eggs
going
evolved before chickens. Wait, what? Oh, the eating. Oh, I thought we were talking about chickens and eggs.
Yeah, so if you stop like being consistent with taking care of yourself and eating and making sure that you're getting healthy meals that feed your mind, not sugar.
Yeah, it's a cycle. It's a cycle.
Which part? What?
It's a cycle. It's a cycle.
Say more things. So it's the sugar?
Yes, and the eating of the sugar.
Yeah.
And the sugar.
And then not eating meals that are good for your brain.
Yeah.
So which comes first? Is it the bad eating habits that bring on the depression? I mean, they I feel like a lot. So they're doing a really intricate dance together.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. It's like they are friends.
They're not friends, but they're
not friends with me, but they're friends. Like the mental whatever, the sort of darkness, the depression or anxiety. It really is kind of this anxious state that I get in where I notice certain behaviors, like I'll start going back and forth from the same places whilst doing nothing at all. Like I'll go to the sink room and then I'll go to the kitchen and then I'll go into here, you know, like I'll just move from place to place kind of as if I have a purpose, but every time I get to there I'm like, oh, I don't have anything to do here, and I'll keep
like just running from yourself. It's really hard to sit with yourself sometimes.
Yeah, it's that too. Like I'll start distracting myself. I'll start looking more on my phone, or I'll start like trying to distract myself from being in any sort of moment for real. And then I'll stop eating and I'll go to sleep later and later. All of those things. And maybe stop exercising, and that's when I know, like, oh, I'm not doing well. Like I'm not super healthy in this moment. And if I can catch it, then I can do something about it. But a lot of times I'll know it in the back of my head, and it'll be like, hey, and I'll just be like, you know, feel unable to snap out of it.
So what's your process of coming back then? Because you do it constantly.
Well, before in the past, I wouldn't. I'd go all the way down into it.
And then you come all the way back out.
And then,
so you always come back.
To be honest, I'd go all the way into it and stay there until it was fucking boring. You know? Until it was like...
So self-indulgent.
Yeah.
You got sick of it.
Yeah. So it was just like, this is so boring. Like, what? Okay. What is there left to be moody about? What is there left to be depressed about? It's just like it's almost like eating too much sugar. You're just like, and then at some point you get up and you move, right? But nowadays, for the last couple of years, I think I've gotten better at just breaking the cycle faster, doing the healthy things, going to sleep earlier, or exercising, eating food. Just these simple little things that don't seem to be much on their own, but by doing them, you kind of break the cycle. You do something good for yourself, and that gives you a good feeling, like, oh, I did something good for myself, and then you can kind of get the ball rolling with some positive momentum, and just like, okay, I took a walk outside, and I saw that the sky, the sky was blue. I got some sunshine, and now I'm gonna make myself a meal, and now I'm gonna, go to bed on time, and now I'm gonna exercise, and all those things add up to where I am able to pull out much, much faster.
That's good.
Yeah, I mean, I think if I look back, it took me a lot longer before, and I would
It's true.
beat myself up a lot longer for each time I would fall into, a pit of despair. I would keep myself in the pit because I was in the pit.
Yeah.
But now also, I guess, just forgiving myself and like, it's okay. This happens. It's all right. It happens sometimes. It's not the end of the world. You've been here before. You've come out before. Don't worry. Just get back up. Don't beat yourself up about it. It's not, you don't have to even apologize about it, or, you don't have to feel bad. Just do something kind for yourself. That's okay, So, I think I've gotten better at that, just forgiving myself faster, too. Gosh, why are we both so oily? All the chips.
What? No. I'm oily because I was wearing makeup and sunscreen and stuff. And I should not be wearing it this long. I should have washed my face out. I've already said all this, okay? I'm very oily. Oh, hey, Laura. You didn't miss much at all.
You didn't miss much at all.
Trust me, you did not. We just talk about our sebaceous pores. And as I said that, something went flying out of my mouth. Help.
So now that we've done a little bit of this, do you feel like we need more structure?
No, I don't necessarily think we need more structure. I just think we need a theme.
A theme?
Mm-hmm. And then within that, we could just go wherever it takes us, I feel.
Boom. Okay. So who makes themes?
We make our own themes.
You make your own theme?
Yeah.
You're going to make your own theme?
I'll make my theme, you make your theme. And we'll come... Oh, wait, you mean like one overarching thing for the whole thing?
Yeah, that's what I was...
How about we take turns?
Okay. All right. I like turns.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Junkin' Poi, see who goes first.
Saisho wa
Goo. Wait, winner goes first or loser goes first?
Winner.
Okay. Saisho wa Goo, Junkin' Poi. I go first. Okay. I go first. Boom.
He goes first. Maybe we had an oily meal.
Did we have an oily meal?
No, not really. There wasn't a lot of oil. It was just made a salmon, spinach, mushroom pasta with not much oil. It was lemon and soy flavored with salt and pepper. Why am I giving you my recipe?
But we're gonna start putting these up on as a podcast form too. I don't really know, how many people at the beginning are going to be listening.
And we don't care how many of you are listening. We're just glad that you are. You and you and you and you get a
build
car.
It and he will come or they will come. Or...
He?
Right? Isn't it
That's so
actually? I think no.
patriarchal.
That is actually one of the Mandela. The Mandela.
Are you talking about Nelson Mandela or a mandala?
The Mandela effect. Guys, what is it called? The Mandela effect? The Mandala effect? You know the thing like the Berenstain Bears, the Berenstain Bears, and the.
I don't
Do you-
even know
do you-
where you're going with
do you know what-
this.
yeah.
I've heard these words before, but I'm not sure what you're
Also,
trying to
like
say.
We Are the Champions of the World.
I don't know. Now you're just being...
No,
What?
okay, so there's this thing called a mandala, or I think it's Mandela, like actually like Nelson Mandela, I think.
Okay, say more things because just the word alone isn't explaining enough for me.
It's the idea that there is a break in reality, like a break in our
split.
a split within our reality, and there are people who remember things differently than other people, or there's a lot of people who remember certain things happening that if you look now they haven't happened.
Right.
So like the
Yeah,
Berenstain
okay.
Bears are called the Berenstain Bears, or vice versa. I'm not sure which one.
That's right.
And like everyone thinks that he says we are the champions of the world, but he never actually says that in the song. See? Why was I talking about that?
I don't know.
I had a reason why I was talking about that. I can't remember, but anyhow.
Anyhow, good point.
Thanks.
Well done.
Thanks.
Okay, wait, Laura, yes, you did kind of miss a little bit. Earlier this year, I started a podcast with a friend of mine, and it was also on YouTube. We like filmed episodes, and I put some podcasts up on Apple iTunes podcasts. But then the pandemic hit, and so it just like died dead. And then we moved and all of this kind of stuff. Yes.
The Mandela effect.
Good for you, man.
Knew
Anyways,
it
so
was
now
the
we're just
Mandela
picking up the podcast again, kind of renaming it and changing it because now Masa is a part of it, whereas before he was more behind the scenes, and so that's this will be more of a talking thing.
Yeah.
But Masa's live streams and all of that will still continue on as well.
Yeah, but we're gonna shoot the shit together every so often.
Shoot the shit.
And I think as time goes on, we'll get into the
Chuck it in the fuck it bucket.
Yeah, well, we're gonna chuck it all in the fucking bucket. You know.
And so I guess now we've just decided the structure. You know.
So I
back
gotta
and
bring a
forth
theme to the table.
Next time, Masa will bring the theme.
Right.
He gonna bring theme.
I'll bring a theme.
Yeah.
Sure, I'll bring a theme.
No, you will.
And probably within the first 15 minutes, we'll veer totally off of the theme and never come back to it.
Because that's how we roll.
That's right. That's how we roll.
That is our structure. Give us a structure and we'll break it. This is gonna be.
But there's nothing is off limits, and I think
Wait.
Is there something that's off limits?
Yeah, don't be a jerk.
What do you mean?
That's the off limits. Don't be a jerk.
That's so limiting. Why would you put that limit on us to not be? How do we grow as human beings if we don't allow ourselves to sometimes be jerks? You know, it's like saying don't hit into the pole, don't hit into the pole as you're driving.
You can be a jerk, sure, in life. I get to experience it all the time, but in this space.
In this space,
we could talk about the times you were a jerk, but don't be a jerk in the space.
Oh.
It's a safe space. Oh wait, I guess that means you could be a jerk. Never mind, forget that. Be a jerk. Whatever you are in that moment. Obviously.
Be kind.
No,
Is that what you're trying to say?
Because I'm not gonna promise that I will be. Never mind. That's too much of an expectation. You're right. Forget it.
I feel like that, I'll try not to be a jerk. But if I am a jerk, then it's a great moment that we can explore jerkness together.
Jerkness.
And also,
Okay. I like it.
Yeah, right?
Fair.
I don't know what topic to bring to the table, to be honest. I mean,
okay,
I guess
it's
it
not
could
here
be
yet.
I guess it could be anything.
It could be anything. You could even talk about jelly beans.
But nothing's off limits? There must be some things that are off limits, you know?
If trust me, we'll find it quickly.
Okay.
If there's a
All
limit.
right. All right. I think for a long time, both you and I were very concerned about preserving the feelings and the reputations of others.
I think in some cases, I still definitely care, but maybe just names will not be mentioned.
Expectations are premeditated resentments. Wow.
I love that, and you are so damn right,
Wow.
Pamela
says expectations are
dropping some
premeditated
truth bombs.
resentments. Guys, listen up.
That is some.
When you go to your partner and you're like, honey, how do I look? And you expect a certain answer.
Like Becky was.
You are just planning. You're plotting.
You're premeditating your own resentment towards said partner.
Yeah. And sometimes maybe we want to resent our partner. Sometimes it's kind of nice. It's easy to resent your partner because if you resent them,
then you're not.
Then you can get away with some shit. You know?
Sometimes
it can kind of absolve you of your sins, you know?
Yeah, but everybody's just a mirror, you know. If you're resenting somebody, it's really just because you're resenting yourself and you can't see it in yourself yet.
You know, like, I think there was a time when you and I really resented each other about a lot of things.
Oh, they come and go. You know.
You know, there was a time when I think we were on the trend of resenting each other.
The resentment trend.
Yeah, because it really is like that. It's like you do one thing, and then I'm like, I resent that. And then it's like, well...
What did I do? Me? The sturdy rock?
Okay, all right. Erase. As Junior says, delete.
No,
Start again.
Tell me more
Start
things.
again. I do something that you... It doesn't matter because it's just going to go back and forth anyway. So whoever starts it doesn't really matter.
Okay, fair.
Right?
Fair.
So let's say I do something and that you resent, right? But then it opens this door of like, okay, well, if you're going to do that, then it should be fine for me to do this. You know, this thing. This one selfish act that perhaps, you know, causes you a slight inconvenience. But, hey, you caused me an inconvenience, or you caused me some disappointment, or whatever, so fair is fair. And then I'm like, whoa, what? Right? I had my reasons for doing that thing that you resented. You are only doing that out of resentment.
Oh my god. Really? This is what goes on in your mind?
No, this is
so illuminating.
And then it's like, okay, well, all right. Now I resent you for resenting me.
This is so meta.
Still just resent you for resenting me. And then on it goes. And then it just piles on each other, right? Mm-hmm. And then you're like, it gets bad, you know? I think we had that time. I think that's...
like, yesterday?
No. Yesterday was great.
Wait, what happened yesterday?
I don't know. Yesterday's in the past. Forget about it, baby.
Forget about it. No, yeah. Forgive.
But we actually had that whole time where we actually like pretty much had to just divorce ourselves from any expectations from each other. We're like, okay, fine. If there's an expectation, let's actually hash it out and say, I expect this of you, whether it's like taking Junior to school or taking out the trash or whatever it is. Let's actually put it down in real terms, and then anything else I can't expect it from you because...
Yeah, well, I think like the whole reason why we went through that is because just like the way that we started our relationship was this no expectations, no boundaries thing. Mm-hmm. Like the lines between us were very blurred, and we kind of, at least I know for me, that just lost myself.
Yeah, I lost myself.
We became
Madunya. No, we didn't know.
We were Maddie. We were Maddie, mommy
Sorry,
and daddy.
Madunya is what we call the hive mind of Junior.
Mommy and daddy.
Mommy and daddy is Madunya.
Madunya.
We're like, we all speak in one voice. We're like,
Madunya.
Madunya.
Yeah, it's very weird and creepy.
It's very...
But then before we were Madunya, we were Maddie. That's what Junior would call us when we were all together, because before this is literally, thanks to 2020, this is the most time I've ever spent here together as a family.
Like all three of us.
I'm usually flying all over the world, gone for like weeks at a time.
Yep.
And yeah, so when we were together, when I would come back from my business trips or whatever, then Junior would call us Maddie, because that was what we were when we were together.
Yeah.
But before we were Maddie,
we were just Masa June.
No, but we didn't even call each other Masa June. I feel like we lost ourselves completely.
We didn't really talk to each other. We talked to ourselves.
Yeah, it was bizarre. Because there were no boundaries, and
nope.
You know, in a way that was really freeing, and it was in a weirdly like Hollywood romanticized way, which is actually very unhealthy for relationships to thrive. But man, it was like intense, and you know,
we were like the creepy twins, like the creepy twins that don't talk, but they like understand what they're saying, you know.
Yeah, it was really weird. So when we first started going out, I have this older brother who really likes masa. But yeah, when we first started going out, he was like, "Oh, so you and Masa together? I see. Is it because he's broken like you?" And I was like, whoa.
I'm broken?
I was like,
who, me?
Me? Dysfunctional human? What? Yeah, but yes, clearly now in retrospect, I see we were deeply, deeply wounded, broken, leaning on each other, hiding from brokenness. And so like throughout our relationship together, I feel like we've been sort of like doing this dance of like going apart, and then like coming back, and like finding where we need to be ourselves as individuals, and then like where we need to like really lock down and
so it's like this thing of like totally codependent to being like, no, independence is the only way, to being like, but we need to depend on each other sometimes, to too much codependency, to being like, okay, no, that's it's a weird thing, because there is like a level of dependency that we have with each other. We do, right? We depend on each other. I depend on you in really big ways, and you depend on me, and we need each other in so many different ways, and yet we need to be individuals, and we need to have our independence and our like autonomy. And I think for a long time there was just absolutely no balance there.
Yeah, there was no balance there. And so like if I felt shitty, you felt shitty. If you felt shitty, I felt shitty. There was so if you went down, we both went down.
We feel shitty.
Not months. It was never months, but like days to sometimes weeks at a time. Yeah. So when you would go down that hole, I'd be like, well, here I go too.
Yeah.
And we'd just like, it was very unhealthy. And so I think as we both started like pulling out of that in our own different ways, me and mine and you and yours, I feel like at least on my end there was resentment. You know,
yeah,
like, I feel shitty. I'm like, why aren't you here with me feeling shitty? And I definitely felt that from you too. You know, when I stopped going down. I forgot what the point was, but anyways.
No, it's just like expectations. Expectations are premeditated resentments. It's so true. And like even just practical things, like you'd go away for a week or two, and I'd be home with Junior, and then while I'm home with Junior, I have expectations. I'm like, oh, when you come back, you're gonna, of course you're gonna be tired and you're gonna need rest, but you're gonna be here with us, and not only here with us, but I'd have my own picture of what that would look like.
Oh, yeah,
you know?
Yeah, totally.
And then when you'd come back, if you didn't fulfill that picture in my head, then I'd be like, I'd be resentful, you know?
yeah, I totally had that too for the first couple of years when I was with Junia at home and you were working.
Right.
Man,
And it's just like,
I
and then
resented
I would have my,
that you
yeah,
could sleep through the night,
yeah.
not wake up to a crying baby.
I can sleep through the night, guys.
And like,
I was talking the other night about how I had really bad in bed manners the other night.
guys, so rude, so rude.
I was sleeping. I was sleeping, guys.
Yeah, but you have better sleeping manners the other nights.
Yeah, I wasn't feeling it, you know. I wasn't.
Yeah, because you were sleeping. He slept in the middle of the bed, in the very middle of our bed, and then he kept sidling over, and I was like at the very edge, like, you know, trying to go to sleep, and then as I'm there, so squished, while he's hugging the entire blankets and the bed, and I'm like trying to like make myself as small as possible, all of a sudden I feel this knocks his hand in my face, and I was just like, well, this is just untenable.
Yeah, she wasn't happy about it.
No,
in the
he was.
morning.
I wasn't. And so I kind of like pushed him off, and then he's like, oh, oh, oh. It makes like this very sad, offended sound. And I was just like, anyways. Yeah. So, you know, expectations. I guess I should not have expected you to.
Nope.
Yeah.
How long have we been live for?
I don't know.
I feel like it's been quite a while.
About an hour.
No idea. An hour and 6 minutes. I've got a good hour radar from
Hour
doing live.
radar.
Yeah,
Oh,
got a good.
that's good. Okay.
But you know, it doesn't. There's no rules for these type of things. There's no rules for how long it goes or how short it goes.
Okay.
You know.
I'm gonna burp.
I need water is what I need.
Sorry, guys. I've been like yawning and burping constantly.
You okay?
I'm okay.
Is it the pasta?
So one thing I have to like say, since we're like no boundaries or not no boundaries. What was it? No limits.
Hey, I know what you're gonna say.
Then why don't you say it?
She's gonna talk about how I fart.
Constantly, and yet somehow never on the live streams unless he's got like silent but deadly ones.
That's because it's like
constant, and I think he does it on purpose, like to make them as big and as trumpet sounding as possible. I don't know how you position your butt cheeks to like make such a like a, you know, it's amazing.
that's like slow-mo, guys.
Yeah.
Gavin Danner like.
Yeah. Gross. So gross.
So the lazy parents is yours. Oh, you're welcome for the. You are welcome for the theme. Let's talk about our resentments. That's what we have been talking about, hasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna get a glass of water.
I don't actually resent the farts. It's just they're so constant, and like if there's any silence, I can expect a very loud, resounding fart to come from Masa, and I think I've just learned to laugh at them as I die inside slowly.
I could keep them all hidden.
No, it's okay. Then you
could cover them
wouldn't
up.
be you. I feel like this newfound farting phase of yours really fits in with the dad jokes. Like the dad jokes came early, and I should have known.
I know. I'm just embracing it. May I?
May you? Yes, you may. It's amazing, guys. You know how when you have kids, you often hear like, "How can so much shit come out of such a small creature?" I wonder, how can such a resounding vibrato come from such a small bottom?
I'm a music man. You know, that's what I do.
Okay, thank you. That's nice, Dad.
It's interesting when okay, back to resentments. Oh no.
No,
We're
go
done.
on.
We're
No,
done with
no, no.
resentments.
I resent that. Go on. What?
I feel like we've made a lot of progress there. I feel like
Yeah,
I don't know. Just for me. Maybe you resent me for many, many things. But for me, I feel like I've cut down the resentments by a good 90%. Maybe even more, 95%.
Wow.
Yeah. Because if I have something now, I just talk to you and be like, hey. And I kind of handle it right there and then so it doesn't grow into a resentment tree. I don't think resentment is a tree. It's more like a vine.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Like a thorny vine.
Yeah, it's like a vine. But I don't let it get out of hand anymore. I just like, okay, hey, let's deal with this right here, right now. And it gets kind of ugly sometimes. Not ugly, but it gets kind of like, drama, you know? But that's what I was avoiding for so long, is that drama that needs to happen in order for that shit to get out of the way. You know, because some things are so easily solved that we didn't solve for so fucking long.
Like what? Give me an
I don't know, just like, just, like, okay, for example, you feel like you have too much on your plate because you're doing, you know, like the bills plus this plus that plus you're cooking too many meals, instead of just being like, hey, you take this, I'll take that, let's divide this way, or whatever, right? Or like, or waking up with Junior in the morning and just being like, who's gonna be the one to wake up first?
Right.
We used to do that.
Right.
We used to just be like, Junior's awake or Junior's waking up, but who's gonna be the one to get up with him? And we just sort of like, is it gonna be, who's gonna break first? You know?
Right.
Instead of just having a fucking plan and being like, it's my turn, I take him. It's your turn, you wake up with him.
Yeah.
And just that just like solves so much of these little tiny things that add up, you know? Because all it takes is for you to wake up wrong. And it just carries over, you know, and then it's like, oh, you didn't take out the trash. Why? You know, like, I always take out the trash, and can't you take out the trash? Like, why? You know?
Yeah, I can take out the trash.
Right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I think we've worked out a good deal of things, and the rest are still hiding under the surface.
All right. Well, let's get into that sometime, huh?
Yeah, I mean, first I have to become aware of them.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Take your time.
I do.
Yeah, and I think
like to
these are
rush these
things that I think regular adults figure out so much quicker than we have.
Well, that's because I feel like most regular adults were raised by regular adults. However, I feel like a very irregular adult.
Yeah.
So I don't like to compare.
Yeah, because some of the things that you find to be atarimae, which what does it mean in English? Atarimae means like a given.
They're obvious.
They're obvious. It's understood. It's common
sense,
knowledge. Common knowledge. Are things that I never was taught as a kid. Like, for example, those neti bags that go in the drain.
I was never taught that. What are you talking about?
Whoa, I don't know. Where did you find out about the neti bags? Somebody must have showed you at some, or you saw it on TV.
No, I lived on my own for many, many years,
So
and I had to clean and cook and do everything for myself for many years, and so I found where you go shopping and you see things, and you're like, oh,
you
this
go
would help with
shopping
that.
and you see things.
Yeah.
I go shopping and I come back with some bread and some eggs.
Oh
and
my god.
most of us are not regular adults, says Kalina.
Yeah, Kalina. That's right. Yes, power to us.
But yeah, like so, like simple things like that, I never learned as a kid. We didn't use those bags growing up. Did you use those bags growing up?
They did not exist when we were kids.
Okay.
They did not. Okay?
All right, because I've gone through the last couple of years thinking, why didn't my parents use neti bags?
Because they didn't exist.
I was like, because those drains got so disgusting.
Yeah, they're disgusting. They're so gross, and so I'd always have to wash
when it
them
was
out.
your job to wash the drain out, it'd be so gross.
Yeah, it's gross and it stinks, but it's so good when it's done. Like, oh my god,
No.
it feels so nice.
Yeah. Okay. I have cleaning. I have cleaning. Like residual cleaning trauma.
Fair.
So,
But, you know, trauma is apparently always just an invitation to heal.
it's deep.
Trauma and triggers, they're an invitation.
They're an invitation.
Like, hello, welcome to this chance to open this up and heal it. It's not something to run from. This is what I'm learning from my own trauma. It does not help when I'm triggered, and if someone told me that when I was triggered, I'll probably chuck them in the fuck it bucket.
But it's kind of like if you chop off somebody's finger and then you're like, and then you say, buddy, an injury is an opportunity to heal. Yeah. It's true.
Very true.
But that guy could have not had his finger cut off and he wouldn't have needed the opportunity to heal. You know?
I mean, sure, if you want to go there. But
right?
You're missing fingers, so there's no point in, like, being like, but what if I didn't get it cut off?
That's what the guy who cut off the fingers would say. That's exactly what he would say. He'd be like, dude, you've already lost your fingers.
Exactly.
Why whine about it now?
It's like,
why not
oh my
thank
God.
me?
I watched Forgetting Sarah Marshall again. I haven't seen that in years, but I loved it. What was his name again? Paul Rudd. It's like, hey guys, I'm Kunu. Looks like you need a little. What does he say? I forgot. He's so good though. I love Paul Rudd. Anyways.
Oh, Kunu. I remember.
You remember Kunu?
Yeah.
He's such a good character. I love him. Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's such a good movie. It's really good. I love it actually quite a bit. It was super funny to watch again. You know how sometimes some comedies that you love when you're younger, they just don't translate once you're older, and you're just like, that's so stupid. Why did I like that? That one still worked for me. Really good. Jason Segel and the oh gosh, what's that girl? The girl from The Good Place. Kristen Bell. Yeah. Kristen Bell.
That's kind of like a series, right? Forgetting Sarah Marshall. Get him to the Greek.
Is there another one?
Is it just those?
I think it's just those two with Russell
Brand.
Yeah.
He's really somebody, isn't he?
I love him.
His brain is kind of on a different wavelength,
he's very eccentric, highly prolific.
He's kind of like a British Robin Williams that's enlightened. You know how like Robin Williams is like, he's like, oh, I know.
Like kind of
manic. He's just kind of, the way his brain works is so fast.
Yeah.
I appreciate him. I appreciate what he used to do when he used to go on those like interview shows and just, I don't know. Screw with reporters and things.
Yeah. He'd like talk circles around them.
Who was the homemaker in your life? Like growing up? The one...
Explain to me what a homemaker is.
I don't know. The one that you like look to and be like, oh, that's how you make a house a home. I guess you don't want to say names.
No, if I had a name, I would say it.
Yeah.
What do you mean by growing up? Like to what age?
I don't know. Till now.
Till now? So now if I think about...
Okay, no, not till now. Till your teenage years, like 15, 16. Like as a kid, like growing up.
Nobody at all. Nobody at all. It was way too tumultuous. Like, so my parents were in a throuple, I think they call that.
Threesome?
Throuple. A couple of three. Throuple.
Three.
Yeah, so and yeah, we were like constantly moving, and then my mom, my biological mom, and my dad split up, and then my dad stayed with my stepmom, and I was the youngest from both my dad and my biological mom, and so I was constantly going back and forth between both of them. Yeah, nobody, no homemaking, anything, really, like, no.
So you had to, that's why you get angry when I'm like, who taught you? Because you had to teach yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we didn't have YouTube.
Yeah.
We did not have YouTube at the time. So, yeah, I had to become, what they call it, juvenilely independent.
My mom taught me how to make curry. But it was with chicken breasts.
That's
So
rough.
it was just...
That's really rough.
My mom made cardboard chicken. We called it cardboard chicken. Because you could not eat it. It was so tough. I don't even know what kind of sauce. It was like kind of like a... It was kind of like a teriyaki sauce, but not even really. Just sort of like soy sauce kind of thickened with something. And then chicken. But it was chicken breast, and it was just cooked to death.
Oh, my.
And we called it cardboard chicken, and
Oh,
she
dear.
used to make it. And she never realized that chicken breast can't be cooked like that.
Yeah.
And we didn't have enough money to buy chicken thigh.
Oh, wait, so you're just asking, like, who taught me to cook?
Not just cook, or just like the common sense things of the home and things.
Well, then
you
I
know?
guess, like, a lot of that would be my stepmom.
Yeah.
She didn't really teach me how to cook, because we didn't really have much to cook either. I think we
Yeah.
made a lot of curries and white sauce type of...
There was a time when we had food in our house. We had food.
Whoa.
There was a period of time where my dad started to actually work and make, we had money coming in and we had real food. And so we would cook, and I would cook every like once or twice a week for dinner for 30 people or more, 30, 40, 30, 20, 30 people. But it was just, I never got the joy of it because it was always so much pressure. It was like, you have to cook for all of these people, and there were good cooks in the house.
Yeah.
And if you made a bad meal, there'd be that energy at the table. That energy where people are just sort of picking at their food and just, you don't want that. And it just like, it was frightening. It was just like this anxious thing to cook.
Right.
And so you didn't want to branch out and try something new because you have like 20, 30 people that, it's
not like you have new ingredients to work with.
Yeah, and you didn't, not only did you experience it, but you saw other people go through it. Like, you saw other people make bad meals, and you'd be like,
yeah. That's true, I guess. Yeah, I think like from around the age of 10 or 11 is when I started cooking for the home too, saying probably like 20 to 40 people at whatever given time.
We both grew up in like communes, by the way, so like there were a lot of people in the house.
There were, and then they slowly trickled down.
Yeah, it started getting less and less.
But...
And I think that's why I still don't have that. Like, I really admire your ability to be like, oh, let me just try something new. Like, for me, that's scary.
I don't just try something new. I look it up extensively on my phone, and I'm just like, well, we have these ingredients, and this says this. And, I try different things, and half the time they fail. And I know when they fail, and I'm like, well, we're not using that recipe anymore. But I'm following a formula.
Yeah.
It's not like I'm, like, in my mind, like,
sometimes before...
lemon and tomato. I don't know.
No, but even
I'm not
that...
like Remy from Ratatouille.
Even that, like, I still admire it. I'm like, well, that's for me, it's so, I get so anxious. Like, it's just like...
Yeah, but see, I don't play around and do crazy new things on the ukulele. I can't.
You did a little jigga jigga jun the other day.
Jigga jigga jun.
You're like, today, you're
Did I?
like, yeah, you're like, ah, jigga jigga jun. And I was like,
sure?
oh, I like that jigga jigga jun. You're
No,
like,
I just did the same stroke, just faster.
yeah.
It was just the
Yeah,
one
I know.
stroke. I just did it like a double speed. It was not new. It was a little twitch of the hand. Anyways, this is getting long, guys. Are you still here? What?
Well, we can end this anytime. We should probably go to bed at some point.
That'd be good. After all, it is Saturday.
Saturday, Saturday,
For us.
Saturday. Well, this is good. Like, we could do this, and then I could still do a live stream technically after
Yeah,
this, right?
totally.
Because it's all set up.
It is all set up. So, if you guys want to, we'll start uploading pretty much exactly what happens here, just the audio, onto the Lazy Parents podcast. You can find it on Apple Pod.
Yeah, we'll probably post a link on the Lazy Parents page, yeah?
Yeah, if you look now, it's literally just old episodes, and I actually cannot even remember what we talked about in them. I'm a little bit afraid to tell you to go listen. But, well, that's what it looks like. What am I showing this to?
Hold on.
No, it's okay. Anyways, yeah. But if you'd rather see our expressions, then
Which are priceless,
here we
by the
are.
way.
See us.
And now I need like a... I feel like I want these mics to match.
Match?
Yeah.
The look?
Well, look, 5-star rating on that.
Whew, I know. I like.
All right, guys,
always-
it's
Okay.
been fun. Maybe I should be in charge of like starting it and stopping it, so then that you don't have to worry. I'll just set a time. And I'll be like, guys, it's been fun. Thanks for joining us on another episode.
What if I'm not ready?
Then you say, I'm not ready, and I'll be
Okay,
like,
okay. All right, cool. Got it.
all right,
Yeah.
see,
I'm ready now.
dividing of the responsibilities, guys. Love you lots. Be well out there in the world. Bye for now. Bye bye. Should we go out with an
A what?
An
Like alms for the poor?
No, like a OMMM.
Is it stopped yet? Why?
Why?